Today we're in the shrine of St Peter and St Paul in New Brighton on the Wirral, Merseyside. It's a huge Catholic church. It's called the Dome at Home because it's got a massive dome and it's just been restored. They spent millions restoring this building. It was earmarked for demolition actually, but it's been resurrected and it's fantastic. I mean, I'm a Protestant, but it's interesting to visit these sort of places. It's got an atmosphere about it, a very solemn, reverential atmosphere, which is quite appropriate for our video today because I want people to focus on Spain, Holy Catholic Spain as it was once known. Something's happening in Spain, something dramatic. The nationalist movement has sparked into life like never before in the post-war period. I think you know Santiago Abascal. He's the leader of the VOX party in Spain. There's a general election taking place in Spain on the 10th of November, and his party, the VOX party, is just rising up the polls. It's become the third biggest party now in Spain. It's got over 70,000 members, and he's hosting rallies in city after city, and thousands of people are turning up. And this has all happened in the space of a few weeks. Since all the trouble in Catalonia, the Spanish people want to save their nation. They want to maintain the unity of their nation and the integrity of their nation. And VOX is a very conservative party, very militant, very strong, very nationalistic. And Santiago Abascal is like Matteo Salvini. He's a celebrity figure. You know, he's a star. He's got the X Factor. And he's rallying the Spanish people. He's saying, save our nation. You know, save us from the EU, save us from mass immigration, save us from disintegration, save us from moral decline, save us from economic and spiritual decline. He's resurrecting Spain. Called it the Reconquista, the second Reconquista, which relates to the reconquest of Spain from the Muslim invaders in 711. Now, it took Spain nearly 800 years to expel the Muslims, but Santiago Abascal, over 3 weeks, has brought his party back to life, because they had a general election in Spain in April 2019, April this year, and the VOX party came from nowhere then. I mean, it was a joke party. It got 50,000 votes in the 2017 general election. There's been 4 general elections in Spain in the last 4 years. They got just a handful of votes, 50,000 votes in 2017. And then in 2019, April 2019, they got 2.5 million votes. They won this they had a real force. They come from nowhere to get 300,000 votes in Andalusia in a regional election just before the general, and they come onto the national stage, and people recognised in Santiago Abascal a potential saviour of Spain. So there was great hopes for VOX in those April elections, and they got 10.4%. 24 deputies in the Spanish Parliament, but really there was a bit of a disappointment. It was a bit of an anticlimax. People thought they were going to do a lot better, and then when it came to the European elections at the end of May, their vote effectively halved, and they got MEPs. They got 3 MEPs, but people thought, no, they're a marginal force. They're not going to become a real fight in Spain. But then since this Catalan event, the Spanish people have seen where the strength is in Spain, and they've come to VOX. Their strength is their ideas. Yeah, they got a great leader in Santiago Abascal, but their idea of nationalism is what's appealing to the Spanish people. People want to save their nations. They want salvation for their countries. They don't want to see their nations destroyed and overwhelmed by globalist and foreign influences. They value what they have. Spain is an ancient nation, just like Poland. I mean, we talked about Poland recently. It's an ancient nation, and it values its identity and its heritage. And if you go onto the VOX channel on Twitter or on Facebook and watch these rallies that are happening into city after city, they just had one in the south, in Andalusia and Malaga. 6,000 people turned up. I mean, and there was thousands locked outside. They're like Trump rallies. The atmosphere is electric. Their membership of the VOX party has gone up from 40,000 after the last general election to 70,000 now, and they're getting thousands of applicants every day. And every town where they're having rallies, huge crowds are assembling. Now, in the past, in the April general election, the media attacked them relentlessly. and denigrated them and said they were neo-Nazis and fascist and racist and the usual stuff, the usual insults. But this time they're not doing that. This time they're recognising that this is actually the hope of Spain. The Spanish people have got to rally in order to protect their nation, because it is in danger of disintegration. And they can only portray the Vox Party as Spanish concerned Spanish citizens. And rival parties like the Citizen Party and Podemos, other populist parties, they've fallen by the wayside because people want strength. People value strong leadership. You know, this is the thing, the media like to say strong leaders are fascist or authoritarian, and now it's almost vogue to put a woman in charge of a political party, like Angela Merkel or, Theresa May, or people like this, female figures as if they're more emollient, but they're useless. These women are useless as leaders. You need strong male leaders to rally the nation. I mean, you can get exceptional women, and Margaret Thatcher was one of them, but normally it's a man, and his masculinity and his strength appeals to the people, because it is that strength which protects the nation, which secures the nation, which secures the borders of a nation, which secures the inheritance of a nation. The thing is, because we live in great countries, we have an amazing inheritance, and the people outside of us, from North Africa, the Middle East, Pakistan, Nigeria, they want to take that from us. We have to defend it. And not only should we be defending it, our inheritance, we should be projecting it onto the world, as we did in the imperial age, because this is a great thing we have, our Christian heritage, our heritage of good government. I mean, corruption is rife now. The more globalism makes an impact, the greater the corruption becomes. Because these people, like the Hillary Clintons of this world and the Joe Bidens, they basically fleece nations. They line their own pockets, not with millions, but with billions. And it's then only the accountability to the national population which stops this. Because people have realised a nation is worthy of defending, and they will stand up for their nation. And I think when Spain has their general election on the 10th of November, the Vox Party, it's going to get at least third place, and it's going to be part of any coalition government in the future of Spain. It's going to be a key player, and people are talking about Santiago Abascal now, not just as a parliamentarian, not just as a member of a coalition, but as a future president, a future leader of Spain. What a transformation that is, and what another sort of flame of hope for Europe. Nationalists are rising in nation after nation. We have to value what we have. So let's watch Spain. Something interesting is happening there.